Yo, what's going on, everyone? Your boy Fat Dumpling back here with another Apex video. Now this is more of a tutorial just because we've got some new game modes out and I want to give you guys the best knowledge so you can destroy the competition. Okay, let's go. Cool. So how to deja vu or deja loot, should I say, and as well as a commentary on Evo Shield, a couple tips here and there, a couple bits of my opinion on how you can essentially win the games. So let's get into it. So tip number one is drop. So think of it like muscle memory. The more you do something, the better you're going to be at doing it. So whether you're writing, whether you're riding a bike, whether you're swimming, it's muscle memory. So it's exactly the same process in Apex Legends Deja Loot. So as you guys know, there is no RNG. So that means if you pick up a Peacekeeper in that bunker, you will pick up the Peacekeeper in that bunker. If you pick up an R99 in this building, it will still be there fresh waiting for you to get your hands on it. So take advantage of that essentially. Just keep dropping in the same location as consistently as you can. Of course, if you're with randoms, it might be a bit harder, but always try and drop in the same area so you know the pathways on how to get what you need to get. So keep dropping as many times possible and learn where the weapons are as well, especially your favorite weapons or your preferred weapons. Learn where those bad boys are. So let's say, I would say weapons are one of the most important things, shields of course, and ammunition. And then you can always pick up shield batteries and batteries all over the map because they're a lot more common to come by, a lot more easy to come by, should I say. So do pick up armor and do pick up shields, which we'll get into later with the armor. Okay, so make sure you keep dropping in the same location, and we'll get into the sort of we'll get into the next tip on how to drop essentially. So tip number two is balance. Now everyone knows that there's a gold shield in Epicenter at the moment. So if everyone knows where it is it worth going there? If you see literally 3 Predator teams, 2 Diamond teams, and a whole bunch of other players going down there to get that one shield and to get everything else around Epicenter, is it worth it? You got to weigh it up. You got to see if it's balanced. In my opinion, it's not balanced. It doesn't make any sense. The prize, you don't reap the rewards of dropping there. So my tip would be to look for higher tier loot in less populated areas, because of course you stand a higher chance of surviving. And even if you get that evolution shield, which will come to in a few minutes, you're going to be able to rack up more damage per se. You're probably going to be able to rack up more damage over a longer period of time, which is a lot more beneficial, and you'll get to the late game a lot quicker as well, unless you're a Predator, which I'm working towards. So find less congested areas, and that will give you a higher chance of living and potentially upgrading that shield and evolving that shield over time, rather than blazing out, because not everyone's Predators, not everyone's Predators. So tip number 3, rotations and drop points. So we said before to stick to the same rotations if possible, but the next tip is to be mindful of where the supply drops land. So I know exactly when the devotion is going to land and where the devotion is going to land in a supply drop, and I know where the gold shield is, for example, as long as other people as well. I know where that supply drop is coming down, so I'm always keeping tabs of my location, my rotation, as well as where it will land, just in case I'm in a pinch and I need the extra armor, or I need the extra ammo from the devotion, or I just want to pick up the devotion that game, which is it makes sense. However, this is the caveat, this is the little pinch, this is a little kicker. If you know where those supply drops drop, then other people are going to know where supply drops drop. So even before, when you would see the little blue rings on the map and you could see where it was going, now everyone knows where it's going for days. So literally it's going to be a choke point and it's going to be a hot zone. So just be prepared for that and keep that in mind, okay? Just keep that in mind. So we're going to move on to the armor. So the Evo shields. and I've actually really enjoyed playing with the Evo shields as of recent. It's added a new layer into decision making in Apex, which is one of the reasons why I love Apex so much. It's quick decision making, as well as decision making around what you have and how you're equipped in the game, essentially, and what stage you're in the game. So we're going to move on to the Evolution Armor, and here are a couple of tips, more than a couple of tips. There are some tips on how to essentially use those Evo shields and how to get the best out of it, essentially. So we're going to move on to tip number 1 on the armor. Now let's get into it. Tip number 1 is people are thirsty for these chicken wings. Okay, people want these wings. As you saw in the first bit of the video, people will rather take a white Evo shield at the moment rather than have a gold shield or a fully shielded purple shield, which doesn't make sense to me. But you know, maybe it's because this is the new hot thing, so everyone wants to get it, so they want to try it out. But as you saw, that Wraith was getting angry at me. She wanted that Evo shield. She wanted that Evo shield. So if you see it, grab it, because you might as well. Like, as I said before, there are 2 reasons why people play this game at the moment, or 2 reasons why they play Deja Loot. No RNG and the Evo shield, essentially. So if you see it, grab it. You might like it, you might not like it. It might be too much pressure for you just to get to that red. You might enjoy playing a little bit more passively, and you might not be interested in kills or damage or whatever it is, but pick it up and try it. Pick it up and try it, by all means. Now, tip number 2. Only take the Evo shields in the morning shifts, okay? In the morning shifts, guys. And what I mean by that is early game. So as soon as you landed, if you see one, pick it up. The reason behind this is because early game, you're going to see a lot more people running around with no shields, running around naked, confused, panicked, frantic, and all sorts. So it makes sense just to carry it as another little bit of layer, another little bit of seasoning, just in case you get put under some heat. Now, do not take it in the late game, guys. Do not take it in the late game. Now, this is the thing. Whereas if you take it in the late game, it's not fully evolved, you're putting yourself at a major disadvantage. Think of it this way: there are going to be less people in the lobby because everyone's going to be dead. Because of course, people are going to be dead. Other things as well. You're going to have a lot less time to actually get that damage and rack that damage up. Whereas if you started early and you getting that damage early, then you're going to have a lot more time, and you're going to have that shield a lot more evolved. So only take it in the early game. If you want to play around with it, by all means. But if you're talking about longevity, don't take it. Don't take it. Cool. So this is tip number 3. Damage. Now, listen. You have to make every bullet count and get the most damage possible as early as possible as well. Now you'll see me, I'm just literally trying to make the most. I'm doing the most. If someone's fighting someone, I'm like, listen, I'm going to fight them as well because I need the damage. Even if you need to poke, listen, get that damage any way you can, just so you can level up the armor, of course. Now, I would recommend these shields to the more aggressive player if someone has a more aggressive play style, just because they're more likely to rack up the damage as fast as possible to reach that sweet red shield, the sweet sauce, the sweet marinade, the paprika, everything nice, all the spice, all that stuff, all right? Now, you can use it if you're more of a passive player. However, it's going to take longer in practice, depending on your skill level, of course. You might be a passive player, but still rack up the damage, especially if you use a sniper. It seems like what Apex is trying to do is push the sniper meta on a bit more, especially with the Sentinel, one of my favorite guns. So if you're able to do it and poke through long range, do it. You're going to rack up your damage that way. Might take a bit longer, but if it suits your playstyle, it suits your playstyle. There we go. So the poke and run method is really good, but you know, it takes a bit longer. Cool. So now we have tip number 4 for the Armour. Cool. So this is a small little tip, something small. These shields do not automatically restore themselves. Okay. When I was fighting someone, I was like, yes, I only need 60 more damage. I was quickly blitzing him with R99, and yeah, I needed to recharge my shields. I thought it was going to recharge it mid-fight, but I was confused. Okay, so make sure that once you unlock another segment of the shield, make sure you top it up when you get the chance, if you survive the fight, that is. I think I survived the fight in that occasion. So make sure that you recharge those shields. Another thing is that make sure you carry extra shields, just because you have more health, if that makes sense, or more shields, so you're gonna have to recharge it more. So do try to carry more shield cells, more shield batteries, just so you can essentially accommodate your bigger shields, which is another little tip that you can use. Cool. So tip number fives, balance. Now this is balancing to do with armor. So now that you're in the game, you have to make a big decision. Okay, now that you've joined the Deja loot game, you're gonna have to make decisions, and these decisions are going to be based about armor. So it's really cool because, as I said before, it adds a new layer onto decision making, not just what gun you're going to carry depending on what stage of the game you are, but what armor you choose mid-game. I would say around mid-game, because most people choose what armor they'll take mid-game. Whereas before there was a clear choice as to, okay, you just get the best armor you can find. Now it's, do I get a weaker armor and potentially build that armor up, or do I get more of a basic armor, or your standard armor, like a purple shield or a blue shield, or even a gold shield at that, like you saw on the start of the video. So as a rule of thumb, these are things that you guys would have to take into consideration when you're deciding. Okay, so I take this into consideration. Is it morning, afternoon, or an evening shift? Okay, aka early, mid, or late game. Now, as a rule of thumb, this is what I would do. Even I would pick up a fresh Evo shield early to mid game, but if I'm in the mid game going on to the late game, I would take a blue shield or above any day of the week, just because, as I said before, it's all about that time essentially. How much damage can you make in that shorter amount of time? Now let's get on to number 6. When you get to the red shield, be aggressive and make the most out of it. Essentially, you have more shields, essentially more overall health than anyone else, so it's going to take a longer time to kill you. So use it, do it. Especially if you're a thick boy, you got that fortified perk, so you might as well use that and make sure you get all of the killings. Now we got our last one, which is something that's quite small, but it's really helpful, and it's something they're going to use, especially if you're using the evolution armor. Keep tabs on how much damage you need to get to evolve your armor. Essentially, you might only need 10 damage to evolve to the next one. You might need 100. It just depends on what stage you're at. So in some cases, it might be better to just poke and then do some damage, and then charge up your next shield segment, should we say, and then go straight to war essentially. So keep tabs on how much damage you need to evolve your shields essentially. Food for thought. Now that was everything today, guys. Thank you very much for listening. Hopefully all these tips come in handy for you guys. Hopefully get you more kills, get you to a better place on Apex Legends essentially. Got some more content coming out. I'm currently working on a ranking every weapon on Apex Legends Season 4. So looking forward to that. Just wait for that one to come out. Apart from that, guys, have a good day and have some good Apex game. Would appreciate it if you could like, share, and subscribe. And see you guys in the next video.